a litigation associate at a national law firm in their Columbus office, which is here where I live. And what I do is civil litigation. So what that is not criminal work, but civil work is when people sue one another, have disagreements that end up in the court system. So I could do anything from filing papers with courts, to doing fact discovery to find out what the dispute is all about, to potentially seeing things all the way through to trial. Now, at our large law firm, we deal more with corporate clients and large-scale cases as opposed to small-scale individual clients, although some attorneys do that type of work too. Okay.
What education and career path led you to where you're at right now?
Sure. I started off with a 4-year degree, and that's a requirement. You need to get a bachelor's degree first. I majored in communication studies and Spanish. You don't have to get any particular type of degree in order to be an attorney. After getting a 4-year degree, you do need to go to law school. I took some time off and just worked, I guess, in a regular, real job for a little while, just to make sure that being an attorney and going to law school was what I wanted to do, because it's a big financial investment and just a commitment in terms of what you want to do in your career once you've gone to law school. Law school is a 3-year program, so I did that and went straight into the job that I've got now.
Great. What's the best thing about your job?
The best thing about my job is that it's really challenging and it changes all the time. You never know what is going to come across your desk in terms of a crazy dispute that two parties may be having with one another. And it's really interesting because you do deal with a lot of different types of things every day. So I think that the variability in the types of substantive issues that we deal with is probably the best part about my job and the challenge that goes along with that.
What's the least best thing about your job?
The least best thing about my job in particular, it's probably just the nature of working at a large law firm, is that it's a big time commitment and life commitment. So I think that learning how to balance working long hours and still maintain your sense of personal identity is the biggest challenge, or the worst best part of my job. I think it's something that you learn to cope with, but at first it's hard to get adjusted to.
What are 3 skills necessary to really excel in your profession?
Now, as a litigator in particular, meaning someone who deals with cases in the court system as opposed to, contracts and deals, it's really important that you have good analytical skills and that you can kind of harness them through reading and writing. If you don't like to read and write, being an attorney in general and being in litigation in particular is probably not for you. I spend anywhere between 8 hours or 12 hours a day reading something on my computer screen, reading books, being in the library, researching and analyzing that and incorporating that into a written work. So, I joke with people sometimes it's my job is like writing a research paper every single day. So if that's not something you enjoy, this would be a bad fit. But if those are things that you're good at and things that you enjoy doing, they're skills that are really helpful.
What are 2 actions that people can take right now or tomorrow to kind of get going on pursuing this career if that's something they want to do? What would you advise them to do?
It depends on where you're at in your life. If you are a high schooler or an undergraduate student, I would recommend, maybe touching base with guidance counselors or, specialty, pre-law type groups and seeing if they have any resources for shadowing people. There are a lot of different types of careers in in the legal profession. And so what I do is very different than what other attorneys do. So I think the best thing that you could do if you're at that stage is kind of explore whether that's something that interests you. I also think that the financial aspect in terms of the commitment that it is to go to law school is really important, because law school is more and more expensive, and jobs are actually somewhat hard to come by. So I think just weighing those options and making sure that first and foremost it's something that you want to do and will enjoy doing once you start doing it is the most important thing. So like I said, shadowing people, researching more about it, reading books. There are tons of books out there about legal careers, and I think those are the best things that you can do.
So for people who think that being a lawyer is just like it is on the show Law and Order, what would you say to them?
I would say that Law and Order is a lot of fun, and maybe some criminal jobs are sort of like that, but it's probably a lot glamorous than it looks on TV. So if I don't do that type of work in particular. In fact, I've been practicing for a few years now, and I can probably count on two hands the number of times that I've actually had to appear in a courthouse. In civil litigation, you don't actually go to court all that often. More often, you are reading and writing and preparing for those court appearances to make sure that you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's. Criminal work, though, you probably are going to be in court quite a bit, but it's a lot less glamorous, and you deal with a high volume of cases. So someone may hand you a stack of papers and say, here you go, get started, and you just kind of have to be able to think on your feet more. So.
Great. Well, thanks for your time. It was nice interviewing you.
Sure.